Today I would like to explain about the one of the real-time problem which I faced in my while I'm programming. Okay, that is with inheritance and overriding. Okay, I'm just explaining with a program which I faced. Okay, in my e-commerce application, I have an e-commerce application. In that, I have a one particular class called base profile form handler. The base profile form handler will validate the basic. It's a common class for across all the forms. Okay, where it will do the validations and then login, basic login, those things it will do it. So I have a three methods. One is do login, and pre-login and post-login. The do login is the actual method where I'll call for the login. Okay, that internally calls the pre-login method to do the validation, form validations, which is required for my login from the backend side, and then it'll actually do the login, actual login, that dipping into the DB and getting the values and checking that whether this particular user is it or not. That particular logic will go here in the actual login validation. And I have a post login where exactly sending emails when our user is logging, something like that. That will be there in my post login. Okay, so then now I have one subclass that is e-commerce profile form handler, which will deals the completely e-commerce related actions. Assume that. Okay, so what I have done is I just overridden the do login method of the base class and then post login method of base class. So the problem whenever the newcomers or new programmers is facing is with inheritance with overriding is, okay, here if you see, if I create this is my test app test class where I'm just I have a main method for the execution of this particular program. So if it is a simple base class object, and if you run this particular program, you guess very well that it will call the do login of the do login method of base class. Okay, and then it will go to this do login method. From this do login method it will print that call do login. From here it will go to the pre login method, and then after that it will do the validation and it will go to the post login. That means it will send the email or SMS. Sending SMS will be it'll send the SMS to the user. That is very familiar if it is a plain class. But if it is come to the inheritance with overriding, okay, the people are little confused that. So what will happen if I override it and then if I call the super methods? Let's see this particular problem. I just changed object of um, uh, to my super class object, subclass object, sorry, subclass object, and reference is superclass reference, and I call a do login method. Now this particular do login method will be called from my subclass e-commerce profile form handler. Actually, if you see here, here I'm calling again. Suppose if I don't have a super, so then definitely it will go and calls my subclass methods. If you see, it is calling the do login method of my subclass. Okay, you guys understood, right? So if I change and then if I call the super methods, super dot do login, then if you see this particular first it will go to the super class, and then from here it will go to the pre-login, and then it will go to the post login of. But the post login, whether this particular post login will call or this particular post login will be called, this is the confusion where people will have. Now if you see and execute this particular program, you guys will understood that particular issue. So it will called, okay, base profile do login, because from my uh, the subclass I'm calling the superclass do login. That's why it went to superclass, and superclass do login, that is what you got to print. And then pre-login of this particular method. So this pre-login has been called, and then after that it is called the post login. But the post login is not from, okay, of the base class, it is called from subclass. Why? Because this particular method is already overridden. Object is our subclass object. That's why the overridden method is being called. Okay, that is the basic issue people will face. People will feel that this particular post login will be called the newcomers, and if you see, actually this calls this overridden method. Okay, so and then after that I just put it this particular CISO, that's why it is showing this particular login. So now you guys understood what exactly happening, right? So this is the way of overriding works. Okay, now if I want the super class validations also, I'll say super.p login post login. So now what will happen is it will cause the post login of the super as well as sub. So now if you see the logs, it called the post login of this thing of post login of this base class, and then post login of my e-commerce profile form handler also. Why? Because before executing SMS logic, I want to send the email also. That's why this logic I want to execute that. So I just simply put it post login. Yeah. So if I want to override the pre-login, again that I just overrided the. I want to do the login validations also. So I can pre-login also. Uh, I can override in my subclass. So assume that I overridden in my subclass. So in this particular case, so if I run this particular program, okay, do login simply. I have not called any super also. Just I ran this particular program in my app test. Okay, if you see that, okay, logging information. So it is really telling that, okay, all methods is overridden. That's why, okay, it will call the do login. From the do login it will call the pre-login, not this pre-login. It will call actually subclass pre-login method because it's overridden. That's why we are getting pre-login. After that it will call the post login, and then after that it will get the do login information from our this particular logs is getting displayed. I hope you guys understood that, okay, how this particular overriding works with inheritance in a different combinations. So if I want to call the super class pre-login, just I have to say super dot pre-login. If I want to execute the pre-login uh, before, if I want to execute, okay, pre-login before executing my base class, I want to execute the base class pre-login first, and after that I want to execute my subclass pre-login. Then I have to use this particular thing. So if you see here, first it will execute, it will comes the execution to the e-commerce profile form handler, and then it will go to the super base profile form handler, and it will execute the base profile form handler, and then it will comes back, and then it's execute this particular thing. If I remove super here also, now you can guys understood what exactly happens. Now if I run this particular program with my super class reference, now if you see here, base do login, and then pre-login, and then e-commerce pre-login, post login is calling. If you see the flow, how it will works is it will go first this particular do login means e-commerce profile do login. From here it will go do login of the base profile form handler. From that it has a pre-login. The pre-login will first call a overridden method. So here it will go pre-login of here, and then actually here we have given again super dot pre-login. That's why it comes here, and it will print this particular pre-login, and then it comes back and it will execute this particular sysout. After that it will comes to the do login actual this particular post login. In my do login I have a post login. So post login will come, and it will execute the post login of subclass. Here I have a post login. Again I am calling the super, and then it will execute this post login, and then it comes back this post login. After that it will display this particular info as you see the logs here, the flow of that particular sequence. So I hope with this you guys understood how overriding with inheritance and super keywords you guys understood. Thank you.